probably more than you wanted to on Saturday, but I guess performed well with a good rush from Notre Dame. How do you kind of view yourself as a weapon for this team now through 2 games where they're relying on you to flip the field and let the defense do what it does?
Yeah, probably would have been out there more than I would have liked Saturday, obviously. But when I'm given my opportunity, I've just got to go out there and execute. And as you said, Notre Dame brought the heat and things like that. I thought they did pretty good on the PBR set up and the way they schemed everything up. But I thought our guys held up well on. They were up in the shield and protection, and the gunners I thought did a good job. So it's just about going out there and executing every time we get an opportunity.
When you go out there, I mean, before you hit the field, I know you have different ways you can punt the ball. Do you know how you're gonna, rugby style punt, or is there a certain style you want to punt or utilize each time you go out on the field that's different and unique, or is it the same all the time?
It's different. Like we work on that obviously through the week, but then about when we're about to go punt, we meet with Coach P and we discuss what sort of punt we think that will suit against obviously the opposition and where we are on the field and what position. And then we talk through that, and then it will be a different sort of punt every opportunity we get on the field. So it would be rugby, it could be in the pocket, it could be whatever. So we talk about that just before we go on the field.
How does Australian rules football translate to American football?
We punt the ball pretty much every couple of seconds, which is different to obviously over here. And then we grow up kicking an Aussie rules football, which is similar shape to a bit bigger, but it's slightly different in its dimensions. And then from the age of 3, you're kicking a football instead of throwing in the backyard with your dad or your mates. You're kicking it every single opportunity you can get, a couple of times a day, and it sort of works. So and then as soon as you come out here to punt, it's similar, but there's obviously things you got to change in the way you approach it.
When did American football become a possibility for you?
I've looked at punting for a while, and the guys that have come across here and done well in college, and you hear about them, and Adam Corsak's one of those guys sort of through those years, and he lived not far from me, and I sort of went to Pro Kick Australia, and they sort of trained me up and gave me the opportunity to come across here, and gave me the best possible pathway to come and play big time college football. But I thought about it for a while, and then when I got the opportunity to go train with them, I took it with both hands.
Do you know who Ray Guy was?
I knew of who Ray Guy was. Obviously, one of the best to do it, if not the best. And he had a good relationship with the guys at Pro Kick, and they obviously spoke highly of him, and the impact that he had on punting, not just in the US but Australia as well. And I think there have been a few Aussies that have won the Ray Guy Award, which is what you sort of aim to as a punter.
You talked before about the differences, getting off the plane in Mississippi versus here. How much have you kind of embraced West Lafayette and just, kind of the small town feel with, what it is, kind of just, I guess, passionate blue collar town?
Yeah, it's definitely a working class town. Obviously Lafayette's got all the big factories out there, and people are blue collared over here, and it's obviously more of a modern town than Starkville, in every aspect there is. The clothes and the trucks down south definitely got you. People in their leather boots, and their outfits are a bit questionable, but here it's a bit more modern, and it's similar to back home, which makes it easier to transition.
Did you feel like you fit in at all in Starkville?
It took a little bit to get used to, but definitely the first few months were rough. Just the whole aspect, looking at things and the scenery and the way the people spoke, the language, what they wore, as I said. It was completely different to anything I experienced.
When you're around here and you start talking to people, stop on the tracks, and they ask you where you're from?
Most of the time, it does get the attention of people, and they obviously ask a few questions, but it was far worse down south. You stood out like a sore thumb down there if you opened your mouth, and then it was like a 60 minutes interview after that. There are 100 questions after.
So when you say you're from Australia, what's the one question you always get asked and you get tired of? Have you seen crocodiles?
Big spiders or snakes or whatever. It's all like a myth,
Kangaroos.
as I said, I think before. But kangaroos, whatever, all that sort of thing. And people didn't believe I was from Australia, which I thought was pretty funny.
Have you met any Aussies at Purdue?
I think there's a few Aussies. I think I met a couple at the international student athlete night the other night. I think he's played soccer. I think there's a few others, the golf and maybe baseball, but I think there's a few more than what there was down at Starkville. There's only one Aussie in a missed day, so that was a bit rough, but yeah.
What do you take from the Notre Dame game? I mean, you go from Indiana State, where you almost didn't play at all, to, you know, you're going out there about every 3 to 6 plays against Notre Dame, but you're playing one of the best teams in the country. And coming from the SEC, you're used to that. So what translates forward from just coming out of a game where you probably were relied upon quite a bit?
I can take a bit from it. Obviously, you know, the reps in game probably punted more than I want to, as I said before, but you know, punting in front of the big crowds and the big stages like against Notre Dame, one of the biggest names in college football. I've played in front of big games, big crowds before, but you know, that experience to get reps and to obviously have an all right performance. I would have liked to feel the punts back, but you know, I can use that as confidence going into the next few weeks.